When I first moved to this neighborhood, the neighborhood had a lot of garbage, a lot of trash, a lot of vacant lots. It was like a no man's land.
Everyone was moving out, and people that were moving in saying, oh, this is a ghetto.
More and more houses were being abandoned. And then a number of the owners of those buildings decided that one of the ways that they could get their money back and maybe even make a quick profit was to burn their houses down.
Every night there was a fire. It was like this block, the next block, the block after that. And each time they'd burn a house, they'd tear it down. You had another vacant lot, so I saw the vacant lots increase. I saw the amount of crap on the vacant lots increase, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
Preceding the first community meeting, there was literally months of work that went into the planning for it. What we wanted to do was to think about how we could refocus our grant making. What could we do, even as a small foundation, what could we do that might attract other larger foundations to help out, to see what we can do in the Roxbury area? That probably is the neediest area in the city.
I asked them, I said, well, how many of you live in this neighborhood? And nobody raised their hand.
My initial impression of Che was that she was an agitator. She was either sent in or voluntarily went in to disrupt the meeting.
You always have people from downtown or somewhere else coming and telling you what you need in your neighborhood.
The fact was that we had made a mistake. We just had misjudged and really not thought through how we could put a neighborhood initiative together without including the residents. It was a rather incredible mistake.
In a series of small meetings, we were able to redo the governance structure in order to make sure that residents were included, and residents were the majority on this new board of directors.
We decided the board members would be elected by the community every 2 years. Each ethnic group would have 3 seats, and the rest of the seats would be for local housing and human service organizations, local businesses, and religious institutions. We kept the name Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative, or DSNI, and agreed we'd work together to revitalize the whole community.
We wanted to come up with some short-term organizing campaigns for folks to start to see that they do in fact have some power and can have some victories.
We're in a neighborhood doing a survey on neighborhood conditions.
As we did a lot of the door knocking, what we found was that the vacant lots were just about the #1 issue that people kept bringing up.
There was unscrupulous contractors from throughout the city, from throughout the greater Boston area, would come and dump their garbage on these lots.
You had to hold your nose when you drove down the street. I mean, it was terrible. No human being should have to live in that kind of situation.
The dumping affected everyone who lived here, but we came from different cultures and spoke different languages, and it was hard to communicate and work together. So we had to find different ways to get all the groups involved.
Produção e apresentação de Jorge Fidalgo e Adalberto Teixeira.
As I started working for the SNI as a community organizer, I used the Cape Verdean radio show as a tool to educate people about what was happening with the SNI and what the SNI was about. We organized the community to go to City Hall, to go to state agencies and demand services.
1 month after pledging to help us clean up the lots, many of which were in fact owned by the city provided equipment for neighborhood cleanup.
We are cleaning because this is Roxbury, and Roxbury is going to be fucking clean. It's going to be clean. Not only this lot, the whole neighborhood, because we take pride in it.
They picked this community to do their illegal dumping. Why do they do that? Do they think we can't fight back? I think this action demonstrates that we're going to fight back.
Officials estimate there are about 10 illegal transfer stations around the city. Tonight represents the first time that officials have ever tried to lock any up.
The day we were able to padlock those transfer stations, it was great. It was great. And to actually see us together try to do something and have it happen, this was like a symbol of hope. I mean, it's like you couldn't tell us that we weren't going to make, big changes. It was great.
We had drafted for Mayor Flynn, a concept plan for Roxbury around Dudley Square.
You know, when you start hearing about other parts of the city, like the South End, where they were moving people of low income out and bringing in people of high income in, and you just figure it's going to happen here. They're trying to push us all out. It was very scary. It was very, very scary.
Ray Flynn resorted to acting toward the neighborhoods in a way that was very similar to the early urban renewal attempts.
Community leaders were infuriated by the failure of city and state officials to include residents in the planning process.
The fact that we have no specifications, nothing in print in front of us so that we can look at it and respond intelligently, I think is a slap in the face.
It really just sounded like a plot for gentrification. They're coming through the South End, they're gonna do Dudley Square, in just a few minutes, they're gonna go right down Dudley Street. I mean, we're only a hop, skip, and a jump from downtown. How many times are we gonna allow people to push us from one place to another in the city?
There's nothing like getting taken to the woodshed publicly for you to think clear out. Nothing does as much good for your thinking as that. And I spent the next 4 months going to the woodshed.
We wanted to improve this neighborhood on our own terms. So we hired urban planners who would look to us for solutions.
Our approach was really to listen and to sit down and say, describe for us the kinds of things that you're experiencing, and then we will begin to translate those in terms of strategies, issues, priorities.
Today we come together to celebrate a very unique plan that stresses services to rebuild the spirit of this community as well as to develop the neighborhood.
The Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative Plan announced today will make some dreams here reality. The initiative report was 9 months in the planning by local residents. It focuses on developing the area with the use of $134 million in public funds.
Having the city adopt our plan really turned the tables on how development is done. You know, that top-down effect was not happening. It was a bottom-up. We met together in the middle. And that's very, very significant because it's totally opposite to what they've always done.
While we were building partnerships to get the first homes built, we were also working to create other kinds of opportunities.
I really truly believe that if the youth in the community could become more involved in the community and become more involved with helping others, that they would give more value for life and respect for themselves. New Bern Roots started in 1990 with one person. Today we have a membership list of over 200 youths in the neighborhood.
As the Dudley community, we need to support the young people, nourish them, and help them and cultivate them as if they were crops.
My name is Jason Webb. I'm 14 years old. I have devoted half of my life to the community.
There still are real questions as to, will people support this housing? Will people live here? We know what the answer is. Get the housing built, make it the right housing, which you know it will be, and people will move in and be very happy.
In 10 long years, but we have arrived.
Hi, my name is Ruby Grice, and I'm one of the first home buyers. I moved out of the area a while back, and I'm happy to say that I'm coming back home. It's been a long process. It's a headache. I think I've gotten a couple of gray hairs, but thank God for coloring. I will use it. And thank you again.
Getting some free food. Get some of this cake.
Well, we moved off of this street in 1962. Oh, it feels good to come back home. It seems like this is home, as I started here when I first moved to Boston, and I know this will probably be where I end up at. It makes it feel like it was 37 years ago, everyone mingling and having a nice time. I guess the biggest thing happened was when my 11-year-old said to me the night that we moved in, that Saturday night, he says, "Mommy, I'm so proud of you." And I was like, I did it, you know. And that was my biggest reward, was my son telling me that.
How do you develop confidence in a community, in individuals, to speak, to stand up for, to strive, to fight, and to have hope? I think those are the key challenges. It's not so much what building are you going to build or what social program are you going to change, but it's the people part of it, the part that has people investing themselves to make a difference, to make a change, and to see that hope. That's the challenge.